Greetings, this is Ron Smalek, and I am reading The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. It is an excellent book. I'm reading it after having watched the movie, and I wanted to record some of my thoughts chapter by chapter. Alright, so Hunger Games chapters 13 and 14. Chapter 13 starts where Katniss is on her own. She's been surviving for several days. She's found water, and suddenly there's a forest fire. Now, my first reaction was, I don't think you're going to be able to run fast enough. Why don't you just jump in the pond and wait till the fire kind of passes by? Um, I probably would have died if that happened, because this turns out to actually be the game masters who set the forest fire and control it to drive her back to the others. And she even thinks about it for a while, like she's following the animals, and then she loses them because they're kind of like her compass. The smoke's getting thick, and you know, what's her best strategy? Should she try to skirt the flame, or should she just run for it? And she, right when she thinks she might have a good plan, they start shooting fireballs at her, which, you know, that seems a little bit unfair to me. But they really wanted to get her back with the others. She gets hit in the leg, and her calf is badly burned, so she has to deal with that. And she basically, right when she's free of that, she is driven back to the point where the career tributes are coming through the woods. They're also smoked up and burned, and she goes to hide up in a tree. Somehow, when I read the book, I missed where they saw her. Like, suddenly she heard their footsteps and she went up the tree, and then they were there. And I just missed the part where they latched onto the fact that she was there. But they had her treed, and she's like, what the hell am I going to do now? She's pretty much worn out at this point, and then she sees Rue in a tree nearby, and Rue is back. Chapter 14, basically, Rue indicates that there is a hornet or a wasp nest up above Katniss's head, and it's full of wasps that are genetically engineered, called tracker jackers, which is kind of a weird name. But earlier in the book we heard about the mutations that were mentioned, so here's the first animal that is a mutation. I liked in the book that they reveal that the smoke from the forest fire made the wasp subdued, and that's why they didn't attack her straight out. That gives her time to start cutting down the branch. I also like the fact that she was smart enough to do the cutting of the branch during the loud national anthem that gets played over the loudspeakers. And then when the anthem stops, and it gets too dark, she stops for the night. Um, this is where she finds her first gift from a sponsor, which is a healing salve, and I thought this was well done in both the book and the movie. Um, Earlier, when she was looking for water, she was saying, why isn't a sponsor sending me water? And she's trying to kind of figure out how that works. And she decided in her mind that the reason she didn't get water earlier was because she was close enough to find it, and they were building up Haymitch was kind of building up that drama, and now at this point, there's no question that the sponsor's going to give her healing salves, and it must be very expensive. Many sponsors had to come together for this one thing, so I don't know if we ever see um, what's actually happening back in the Capitol. I think the way they showed it in the movie with Haymitch shaking hands and socializing was well done. Uh, Back to chapter 14 in the book, the morning comes, she starts cutting down the rest of the branch. She gets stung 3 times, and they actually describe the swollenness of these stings to be like more like the size of an orange than a plum, which that's huge from one sting. That would be very painful. 2 of the girls down below die. The boys get away. Katniss gets to the ground and basically gets her bow out of the dead fingers of one of the girls. Unfortunately for her, because she did get stung, the hallucinations are starting to kick in. And as she's running through the woods, things are getting technicolor and bleeding together and all this stuff. And she's not sure. if PETA actually shows up and saves her again, or if it's a hallucination. But now, again, she feels like she owes him yet another time because he tells her to run. And I think this is where we're supposed to um, understand that because the Kato, the boy from District 1, comes out of the bush as PETA tells her to run, this is where they turn on PETA as well. So we will find out in the next chapters.